Let's do this. I'm happy to have you three on here. Got my Facebookies over here. Okay, 45 minutes, deep power. Any special requests? Just movement, yoga. Okay, I'm gonna mute you guys. Mute all. Then if you do want to play your own music or anything like that on your end, absolutely feel free. If you want to turn your videos off, you're welcome to. I always say it gives me a little more accountability sometimes if I just leave my video on, just so I don't, like if I turn it off, I can just like wander off my mat through the whole entire class. So up to you, whatever you feel this morning. And then let's just go ahead and get started in Child's Pose. So you choose knees wide, knees together, somewhere in between. And then as you settle in, you can take a moment. So maybe just kind of move a little bit. And then when you're ready, so no rush, but eventually just sit back into your Child's Pose and kind of rest there. So without making Child's Pose active, so there are ways to make Child's Pose a little more active, but for now, can you just relax in your Child's Pose? Can you just be soft in your Child's Pose? So just let the ground hold all of your weight. And if it feels good, you can even reach your arms back by your sides for more of an embryo pose. So these first couple moments, just letting the ground hold you completely, just relaxing completely. Let yourself be held. And then just take a moment to feel what's going on. So what's going on perhaps around you in your surroundings. What sounds are there? The temperature, the ground underneath you, just the energy around you wherever you're at. And then bring more awareness inside, so into your own body, into your own being. So notice even thoughts that might be present this morning, thoughts that you've got running through your mind. So just noticing them, not getting involved in them or wandering off with them. Just noticing what's there. And notice sensation, notice emotion, notice your breath. Next time you inhale, take a great big huge inhale, so as big as you possibly can. And then when you think you're full, see if you can even sip in just a little bit more, so it's like you're inflating. Hold. Big sigh, let it go. Ah. And a couple more like that. Big inhale, fill up. So breathe into all the little tiny spaces. Hold in fullness. And when you're ready, that open mouth sigh, release. Ah. And one last time. So biggest inhale you've taken all morning long. Just move this life force energy, this prana through you. Take a moment to hold, to pause. And when you're ready, open mouth sigh, let it go. Ah. All right, my friends. Start to bring in your Ujjayi breath, and as you do so, you can rise up to your hands and your knees and start to explore some physical movement. So in and out through your nose by way of the back of your throat, Ujjayi breath, and then just any exploration of your body from the position of hands and knees. So maybe you start with just some simple cat-cows. Maybe you bring it all the way forward to more of a heart opener, cobra, up dog. You can circle your hips around. You can spin your fingers around. So lots and lots of ways to explore. Be creative, be intuitive, and just feel into what's going on inside. So especially when I practice in the morning, I feel like my body is a little more sensitive. I haven't been moving too much yet, so I'm a little more tender, I'm a little more stiff, so I'm just feeling into that, noticing that, breathing into that. So without judgment, it's not good or bad, It just is what it is. So take it all in as observation. Big, spacious breaths are guiding your movement. I'm going to say take about 4 or 5 more rounds. For me, I feel like this is like the best thing ever. I could stay here for a long time just moving. So really explore, get everything you can out of this intuitive movement, and then we'll meet back in our downward facing dog. So just as you're ready, start your transition back to down dog. Good, friends. And then once you're back in your down dog, same thing, big deep breaths. So maybe you want to pedal out your heels or shift your weight from side to side. Maybe you want to bend your knees a lot and just focus on that length from your fingertips all the way up to your sit bones. Maybe you start to work your legs towards straight, so working more of the length in the backs of your legs. So it's totally up to you. Feel into your pose today in this moment. So down dog, this is a pose we do all the time. How does it feel this morning? How does it feel in your body this morning? So just noticing, observing what's going on inside. And then as you explore this pose, your breath stays with you. It's there, it's big, it's spacious, it's powerful and strong. So this is, I always say it, this is my favorite way to practice yoga. It's just slow and intentional. So today we won't be moving quickly. We won't do any breath to movement flow, maybe just a little tiny bit. But for the most part, we'll be in these poses a little bit longer and we'll feel into them. So the intention is to make those little tiny adjustments that change the way the pose feels on the inside. So a lot of times those adjustments, they can't be seen visually. They're little tiny ones that you feel on the inside, little micro adjustments. So what does it feel like, for example, in your down dog, to press more into your thumbs and your index fingers? Does anything happen? And then what does it feel like to externally rotate your shoulders just a little more? What does it feel like to bend your knees more? So just exploring. What does it feel like to take your feet out a little bit wider than usual? So stay curious. Take one more big inhale into your dog pose. And then as you exhale, just look to the top of your mat. Let's take little tiny baby steps on our tiptoes to the top of our mat. So each time you step forward, make it really intentional. It's like you're using your core strength to pick up your foot. So you're pulling your femur bone up into the hip socket as you take a step. And then another when you get to the front of your mat, top of your mat, just be in your forward fold. So you can set your heels down lightly, maybe even a ragdoll pose if that would feel good. Feet hips width distance apart, or perhaps just a little wider for this first one. Make sure all of your toes face forward. So you want the outer edges of your feet parallel to the outer edges of your mat. And then if you are in ragdoll, or even if you aren't, maybe you want a little sway, a little swing, a little bob. And then notice where your weight is in your feet. Make sure it's not back in your heels. So your heels are really light against the ground. If I had a little piece of paper, you'd be able to lift up your heels and just let me slide that paper underneath your heels really easily. Make sure you're not rolling onto the outer edges of your feet. So stay rooted through inner and outer edges. Take one more breath. With your next inhalation, halfway lift position. So get all the rounding out of your back. Stick your butt out behind you. Reach the top of your head forward and let it go. Exhale. Do that one more time. Halfway lift. Top of your head forward. Tops of your thighs back. You don't want a lot of weight in your hands, so you're just working the length in your spine. Exhale. Let it go. Now you choose either a roll or a reverse swan dive all the way up. As you begin your in-breath, reach your arms up. So top of your inhale, full body stretch. And exhale, draw your hands into your heart. If you want to bring your feet in a little closer, you're more than welcome to. So take a moment just standing in your mountain pose, top of your mat, either hands at heart center or arms by your sides. So stand with intention and attention. Root through your feet, draw up through the crown of your head. Neutral spine, neutral pelvis. If you want to, close your eyes, go inward. If there is a certain intention, a personal intention you want to set for your practice this morning, go ahead and do so. So just focus in on that, feel into it, embody it, visualize it in some way, so whatever makes sense for you. If there's nothing in particular, just let it go and be open. Let's take one more big inhale. So think of breathing that intention into all the little spaces in your body. Hold. And then big open mouth exhale. So just letting it go, opening up to possibility of how it shows up. Ujjayi Breath now. Inhale, reach up, stretch tall. Exhale, take a slow swan dive down. So heart leads all the way down to your forward fold. With your inhalation, halfway lift. So lots and lots of length. And with your exhalation, let it go, fold. Press into your feet, lead with your heart. Reverse swan dive. So come through that halfway lift and continue to rise. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Let's do one more round just like that. Inhale, high mountain. And as you exhale, slow dive. So you're riding your breath down, traction out your spine, then release. Neck relaxes at the bottom. Spinal extension, breathe in, Ardha Uttanasana. And forward fold, breathe out, empty out, Uttanasana. Press into your feet, lead with your heart, rise. Inhale, stretch, reach, maybe even gaze up. And heart center, exhale. All right, friends, inhale, take your arms up. Now, this is a little bit different. You're gonna cross, let me come here so you can see. You're gonna cross your wrists, one in front of the other, and then turn your palms to face each other, so it's like you're giving yourself a high five above your head, palms pressed together. Now squeeze your biceps next to your ears, and get as long as you can. Press your palms together firmly. Take one more in-breath. As you exhale, side body stretch to the right. So send your hips to the left, upper body to the right. More weight in your left foot. So it's like you're making a crescent moon shape with your body. Now press your palms together firmly so you're using that as a little bit of leverage to go even deeper. See if you can breathe bigger into your left side, left waistline, left rib cage. Take one more round. Inhale, come back up, and then just switch the cross of your wrist. So your opposite wrist now is in front. You're still high-fiving yourself, so palms press. When you're ready, take it up and over, other side. So most of your weight now is in your right foot. Hips move right, upper body goes left. So you are initiating the stretch with your lower body and then continuing it into your upper body. Make sure you're not rounding forward and looking down. So pull your right shoulder back and down, press your palms together. Take a bigger, deeper breath, one more round. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release your hands. Bring your hands behind your back now and clasp. So interlace your fingers. Roll your shoulders back and down. Shoulder blades squeeze towards your spine. If you want a little more intensity today, here's your option. Press your palms together and then steeple your index fingers towards the ground. So palms press, index fingers steeple, and then see if you can start to reach your hands back away from your body. Try not to lock out your elbows. So it might look like your arms are really, really straight, but you still feel just a little tiny bend in your elbows, so you're not locking out, dumping into your joints. Take one more in-breath, and if you want to add a little back bend, go for it. Lift your heart up. Keep your clasp, hinge at your hips. Exhale, dive down. So forward fold with your fingers interlaced. Either press your palms and steeple your index, or you can interlace all 10 of your fingers and let your palms come apart if that feels better. So work the opening in the fronts of your shoulders, relax your neck. Lift your butt, lift your hands higher, maybe even start to reach them forward. Take one more in-breath. Exhale, hands to low back, release your clasp. Now let your arms dangle, maybe give them a little shake out. On an inhalation, find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bow. Now plant your hands and step your feet back, plank position. Let's take a big inhale at the top of our push-up. Come to your knees if you want. Exhale, halfway down. Strong arms, strong belly. Don't let your shoulders roll forward. Inhale, press back up, high plank. One more time, just slow motion push-up, halfway down. Hover and hold. Inhale, press up. And slow as you can go, exhale down to your belly. Nice work, friends. Let's take our Spiderman Cobra, my favorite. So hands out wide, lift the fingertips, inhale, lift your chest. Elbows face towards the sky, pelvis presses down. Exhale, twist to your right, and dip your left shoulder towards the center of your mat. Inhale through center, lift your heart, press down through your pelvis and your shoelaces. Exhale, other side, twist left. Inhale, back through center, heart lifts, little tone in your belly. One more time, each direction, go at your own pace. So feeling into your shoulders, into your spine. Eventually, come back to center on an inhale. And exhale to let it go. Let's meet up in tabletop position, so just hands and knees. All right, and then from our tabletop, we'll move into a modified side plank. So right hand is your base, pivot on your right knee, so right foot comes to the outside of your mat like a little kickstand. Left leg reaches back, and then left arm to the sky. So squeeze your outer right butt cheek, press your hips forward, and then reach your left arm towards the top edge or past the top edge of your mat. So really lengthening through your left side body. You might even press down through your left foot and then see if you can use that as leverage to lengthen your left side even more. If this feels really nice, maybe this is where you stay. Otherwise, left leg floats up. Make your left leg strong and powerful. Think of this as a half moon, but you're on your hand and your knee, so you just got a little extra help with your balance. Now, option to move into that bound variation. So bend your left knee, reach back, grab, hold. Once you've got hold of your foot, kick and pull. So kick foot into hand, pull hand back into foot, press your hips forward and see if you can let your heart rotate open towards the sky. Breathe down into your belly. Take about 2 more breaths, soft through your face. Press into your thumb and index finger on your right hand. So that right arm is strong. Last big inhale. And then as you exhale, just ever so slowly release, unwind, come back to your hands and your knees. All right, from hands and knees now, extend your right leg straight out to the right. So it's like you're doing a half wide-legged straddle with your right leg. Toes face forward. We're going to thread the needle with our left arm. So your left arm will reach underneath. Imagine you want to grab hold of your right big toe with your left peace fingers. If you can do that, go for it. Make it into a bind. Otherwise, wherever you want to take this pose, whatever variation you want to take, we've got about 3 to 5 breaths. So big, expansive inhales that move into upper back, mid back, low back. And then strong exhales all the way to emptiness. Soften your face, unclench your jaw, and see if you can breathe even bigger. Notice whatever there is to notice, feel whatever there is to feel. And maybe even make those little tiny adjustments. The ones that we don't see on the outside, but we feel them on the inside. They make a huge difference. Let's take one final round. And then if you happen to have your right hand lifted off the ground, go ahead and just bring it back to earth. Next time you breathe in, unthread your left arm. Reach it all the way up as high as you can. So up, 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 open up. And then set your left hand down. Pick up your right toes or your right foot and just swing your right leg all the way over. So now your right toes come off the left side of your yoga mat. And then gaze back over your left shoulder. Look back at your right tiptoes. And then personally, I like to bend one or both elbows here. You can kind of find a sweet spot if you play with it a little. Take one more round. All right, come back to hands and knees, tabletop. And then let's take it back to downward facing dog. Big, spacious breaths. All right, inhale, listen, right leg to the sky. And then as you exhale, this is a little bit funky, we're gonna walk our hands to the back of our yoga mat, come into a standing split position. So hands walk back, left foot stays rooted, keep lifting your right leg high. Keep drawing up through your belly button. Reach up through your right toes. Stay here for about 2 or 3 more breaths. If handstand hops are in your practice and you feel like playing, you're welcome to play for a moment. If you want to play with your balance, maybe left arm behind left leg. If you're holding standing splits, your neck is relaxed. Think forehead towards your shin. Let's take one more inhale. Now exhale, forward fold back of your yoga mat. So step your right foot down next to left. Inhale to a spinal extension, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Now listen, walk your feet out to the width of your mat. Pivot your toes out wider than your heels. Come down into a low squat malasana. So try to keep your heels down if you can, and then even see if you can lift your toes up. Spread your toes. Hands at your heart, or you can just press your fists together. Sometimes I like to press my fists together. Try to broaden through your collarbones and your shoulders. Lengthen your spine rather than rounding your back. Take about 3 deep breaths, so just breathing all the way down into your hips and your groin. Some people, this pose feels really natural, really easy. Others, like myself, this is very uncomfortable. I do not enjoy it, but it's good for me. All right, friends, let's take one more big inhale. And as you exhale, fingertips down, hips up. Keep your feet nice and wide at the width of your mat, but just rotate your toes so they're facing forward. Come back to your halfway lift position. And then let's move into a twist. So bring your left fingertips down underneath your chest and reach your right arm to the sky. If you need to bend your left knee a little or a lot, that's totally fine. So spine long, top of your head reaches forward, and your hips reach back, especially your right hip. Reach up through your right fingertips and twist from your center one more round. End of your exhale, slowly unwind and just switch to the other side. So right fingertips on the ground, or you're welcome to use a block under your right hand if you have one at home. Left arm reaches up, twist. Both legs as straight as possible. If you need to bend your right knee a little or a lot, go for it. Lengthen your spine, crown of your head back to your hips. Reach up like you want to touch the sky with your left fingertips. You can take your gaze up towards your left hand or let your head be heavy, more forest yoga style, so neck relaxes. Take one more great big breath. All right, friends, end of your exhale, unwind. Now keep your feet nice and wide. Walk your hands forward, plank position with your feet at the width of your mat. So shoulders over wrists, hips level with your shoulders, feet nice and wide. Now, see if you can pick up your left hand, or maybe just come up to your left fingertips to begin with. And then see if you can reach your left arm forward. Nothing else changes much. See if now you can float your right foot off the ground, reach back through your right foot, right leg strong. So teeter-totter, draw navel to spine. Really strong here, reach forward and back. Take one more inhale. Exhale, go ahead and lower it down. Walk your feet a little bit closer together. And then you can either take a vinyasa or just go straight back to down dog, your choice. Once you're back in down dog, fire up that Ujjayi Breath. Next, inhale, right leg to the sky. And then this time, exhale, just step your right foot forward, low lunge position. We'll rise up to crescent. So as you're ready, front knee over front ankle, high on the ball of your back foot, rise up and settle in. So hips are square, right hip pulls back, left hip pulls forward, and your back leg feels just as sturdy and strong as your front leg. Let's take a side body stretch from our crescent lunge. So just like we did before, cross your wrists, turn your palms to face each other. High five yourself above your head, and then upper body, when you're ready, goes to the right. So think up and over to the right. Keep your legs strong. Try to pull your right hip back. Left hip slightly forward, and then breathe down your left side. Feel that stretch all the way down into your left hip flexor muscles. Press your palms together. Squeeze your biceps next to your ears. Take one more round. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, release your hands, bring your hands to your front thigh and lean slightly forward. So now you've got a diagonal line from the top of your head back to your heel. Start to lean forward a little more, and then back leg floats up, warrior three variation. From here, we'll move into a half moon. So right fingertips come down, or right hand to a block, left hand to your left hip. Start to open it up. So left hip stacks on top of right. Eventually, left arm to the sky. If you want to move into Chapasana variation, option to bend your left knee, reach back, grab hold of your left foot. Kick foot into hand, pull hand back into foot. So your pose, your expression, and then just explore, just play. If you're falling in and out, no big deal. You've got about 2 more breaths. Root through the inner edge of your right foot, and then think of lengthening in all directions, strengthening in all directions. Last big inhale. If you're holding your left foot, re-extend. Now nice and easy, forward fold, top of your yoga mat. All right, this time bring your big toes together, little gap in between your heels, tuck and curl, so little tiny potato bug ball. Butt towards the ground, nose towards your knees. You can lift your heels or keep them down, it's up to you. Option to wrap your arms around the fronts of your shins and give yourself a big squeeze. Breathe into your back body. Nice work, friends. All right, next time you inhale, spinal extension, so heels on the ground, realign. Now listen, exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. We've got Vashisthasana, full side plank, right hand is your base. Roll onto the baby toe edge of your right foot, left arm to the sky. So lift your hips really, really high. If you want to modify, your right knee can always come down. If your right knee is not down, hips lift, and then maybe take your left arm towards the top edge of your mat, past the top edge of your mat. Maybe float your left leg up. Final option, only if you want to take it, wild thing. So flip it over, step your left toes back behind you. Reach your left arm forward and your heart forward. Open up through your front body. One last huge breath wherever you've chosen to go. Now let's meet in a plank position or modified plank. Inhale at the top. Exhale to slowly lower. Back bend of your choice. Breathe in. And then for a moment, child's pose. Breathe out. So just rest here like we did at the very beginning of class. Let everything soften. If it is helpful, Arms reach back towards your heels, or even grab your heels, embryo pose. Slow down your breath, smooth it out. Good, friends. All right, and then let's meet in downward facing dog. Take it back. Okie dokie, from your down dog, inhale your left leg high, three-legged dog. And then exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat, come into your standing splits at the back of your yoga mat. So keep lifting through your belly button, keep lifting through your left toes as you walk your hands back. Think of it as a one-legged forward fold. We'll be here for a few rounds. So you can work your standing splits, play with your balance. You can play with your handstand hops. Anywhere you want to go. Make sure your breath comes with you. All right, one last inhale. Reach your left leg super high. Exhale, step your left foot down, back of your yoga mat, forward fold. Maybe you give your right leg just a little shake out for a moment. Next, inhale, spinal extension, realign. Exhale, fold. Again, walk your feet out to the width of your mat, pivot your toes out wider than heels. Come down to your low squat, Malasana. So again, try to keep your heels down if you can. Hands at your heart. This time, if you want a little more intensity, see if you can reach your arms above your head, and then cross your wrists. Give yourself a high five above your head, palms press. Try not to round forward and look down. Gaze out in front of you. And imagine you're trying to press your arms back and your chest forward. Weight in your heels if possible. Pick up your toes and spread them. Now breathe really big down to your hips, down to your groin. Good, you guys. Take one more. Great big huge breath. Maybe two. Let's say two. Good work. All right, end of your next exhale, fingertips down, lift your hips, pivot your toes to face straight forward, but keep your feet nice and wide at the width of your mat. Let's come back to that halfway lift position. And then, like we did before, left fingertips on the ground or left hand to a block, right arm to the sky for your twist. This time, option to go a little bit deeper. So option to take your left hand to the outside of your right ankle, and then wrap your right arm behind your back. So you're using the leverage of your of your left hand against your right ankle to work your twist just a little bit more. Take one more round. Exhale all the way to emptiness, and then end of your exhale, slowly unwind and switch to the other side. So start with your right hand down, left arm up. Legs as straight as possible without locking out your knees. Then if you want to take it a bit further, right hand to the outside of left ankle, left arm wraps behind you. Breathe deeply. So get everything you can out of this pose. Use your breath. Ring out through your spine. One more. All right, let it go. If you want one more halfway lift to just kind of realign, please feel free to take it. And then as you're ready, you're going to keep your feet nice and wide, but crawl your hands forward, plank position. So shoulders over wrists, hips level with shoulders. Spread your fingers and press down firmly through your fingertips. Now see if you can lift up to just your right fingertips, get lighter on your right hand. Keep everything else really stable and strong. See if you can reach your right arm forward, and then maybe even float your left foot off the ground. So teeter-totter, it's like your spinal balance. Take one more great big inhale, reach, and exhale, lower down. You choose vinyasa or straight back to down dog. Fire up that Ujjayi breath. Inhale, left leg to the sky. And then exhale, low lunge, step through. Rise when you're ready, crescent lunge. So front knee over front ankle, high on the ball of your back foot. Pull front hip back, back hip forward so your inner thighs squeeze. Low abdominals tone. Chest lifts. So think of a proud chest. Find your breath. All right, side body stretch. Cross your wrists. High five with your palms. Maybe switch the cross so it's a little more unnatural. It's the way you wouldn't regularly choose to do it. And then when you're ready, up and over, side body stretch to the left. Pull your left hip back. Squeeze through your inner thighs, lengthen through your right side. Pull your right shoulder back and squeeze your biceps next to your ears. Press your palms firmly so you're using that as leverage. Now breathe bigger and deeper. Last round, you've got this. Inhale back up. Release your hands, bring your hands down to your front thigh, lean forward just a bit. So rooting into your front foot. And then as you're ready, so navel to spine like you're puffing up through your low back. Lean forward and float your back leg off the ground. So you're in warrior 3 for just a moment, and then we'll transition into our balancing half moon. Left hand to the ground or a block, right hand to your right hip, and then open it up. So stack right hip on top of left. Oh my gosh, I realized I forgot our modified side plank on this side. We'll get to it, I promise. It's kind of our warm-up for this pose, so you didn't really get a warm-up on this side. See if you can do it anyways. So right arm to the sky if you want. And then option to take that sugarcane variation, bend your right knee, reach back, grab a hold. You guys are awesome. Give it a couple more rounds wherever you're at. So working the pose with your breath. If you're falling in and out, perfect. That means you met an edge. And now you get to play with it. Take one last big inhale. Re-extend your right leg if you're holding your foot. Exhale, forward fold, top of your yoga mat. Set your right foot down. Give your left leg a little shake out. And then big toes touch, tuck and curl. Tiny potato bug ball, get small. Either arms wrap around your shins, or maybe this time, walk your fingertips forward. So spider crawl your hands forward, and then push the ground away from you. So like you're pushing the ground forward and away, so you can get your nose closer to your knees. Squeeze through your inner thighs, round your back. Breathe into your back body. Take one more round. Good work. Inhale, halfway lift, heels down, spine parallel to the earth. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Vashisthasana, left hand is your base. Roll onto the baby toe edge of your left foot. So we're going into our full side plank. We haven't done modified yet. That's okay. You guys got this. Lift your hips super high. You can always modify it if you want to, of course. Right arm reaches forward, so stretch through your right side. Maybe float your right leg up. Lift your hips even higher, and then possibly wild thing. So right toe step back behind you, heart opens up. Wherever you've chosen to take this, 2 more rounds, fullest expression. Soften your face. Unclench your jaw. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale, plank or modified. Inhale at the top of your push-up. Exhale, slowly lower, chaturanga. Lift your heart as you breathe in. And then tabletop, hands and knees. And let's even ourselves out. So actually, for a moment, just take a child's pose to give your wrists a little break. So child's pose, let's say 3 breaths. Maybe embryo pose. All right, friends. Tabletop position. And let's do this. So pivot on your left knee, left foot comes out like a little kickstand, right leg extends back, right arm to the sky. And then for a moment, just reach your right arm forward and press your right foot down. So really working that length in your right side. If you want to stay here, do so. Otherwise, float your right leg up. So it's just like our balancing half moon, but you're on your hand and your knee. You've already done the hard one, so this is your modified variation. How does it feel? Make your right leg strong, press with your right foot. Stay here or find your bind. Bend your right knee, grab hold of your foot, kick and pull. See if you can take your gaze up and let your heart follow so heart turns to face open. Spread your toes, breathe, 2 more breaths. Press down into thumb and index of your left hand. So keeping that wrist really supported. End of your exhale, slow release. Come back to hands and knees. Okie dokie. And this will be a little bit going into our cool down. This will feel good. So left leg out to the left, toes face forward, like your half wide legged straddle. And then reach your right arm through like you're trying to grab hold of that left big toe. Come down to rest on the outside of your shoulder, outside of your head. Any variation, you want to take some great big breaths into your back body. Couple more. Slow, steady, and spacious breaths. Okay, friends, if you have your left hand lifted, bring it back to the ground. And then with your next inhalation, unthread your right arm. Reach it up as high as you can. So reach, 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 open up. And right hand down. Pick up your left foot, swing your left toes all the way off the right side of your mat. And then turn and gaze back over your right shoulder, look back at your left tip toes. And again, maybe you bend one elbow, then the other, maybe both at the same time. So looking for that sweet spot, feeling into it. Big deep breath. All right, tabletop position. Downward facing dog. All right, friends, pretty much made it to the end of your practice. Let's take a great big inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Little tiny bit more core, 3-legged dog, reach high, breathe in. Right knee, right armpit as high as you can get on your right arm. 3-legged dog. And we've got pigeon pose, right shin forward on your exhale, set your body down. So you can take regular pigeon, pull your right hip back, reach your heart forward and bow. If you'd rather take this pose in a seat or on your back, always, always feel free. 5 to 7 deep breaths. And today, my friends, as you rest in your pigeon pose, I'm going to read to you. So this is, of course, by Jeff Foster, and it's from his book, Falling in Love with Where You Are. This is called The Living Room. He says, it's about coming alive. It's about waking up to grace. It's about unconditional friendliness and infinite kindness to yourself. It's about making it safe, finally safe, for all those unloved, unmet, unseen waves of the ocean of yourself to crawl out of the depths, out of the darkness, out of the corners and crevices of experience and come into the light, blinking and full of wonder. Yes, all of those swirling, pulsating energies of that which we call life are welcome in the unlimited room that you are,
the vast living room in which all creation sings and dances and paints itself into the ever-changing picture of this extraordinary moment. So in this moment, just feeling the aliveness in your body, feeling the emotions that run through you, feeling everything, whether it's good or bad, comfortable or uncomfortable. Just welcoming it all into your being, into the vastness, the wide open space that you are. Take your last couple breaths. Exhale out your mouth if you'd like. And then let's slowly begin transitioning back to downward facing dog. So I'm going to let you transition however you want. You can go into a three-legged dog. You can go into a tabletop. Take some cat-cows. Take a vinyasa. And eventually just walk it out in your down dog. Reconnect to your Ujjayi. Okie dokie. Inhale, left leg high. Stretch it out. If you want to open your hip for a moment, go for it. And then let's take our left knee to our right elbow on an exhale. So that little twist. Get as close as you can. Three-legged dog. Reach up. Left to left. So aim high. Last little bit of core. Inhale, lengthen it out. And pigeon pose, left shin forward. Set your body down gently. Left hip pulls back. Finger bone plugs into the socket. Heart reaches forward. Keep activation in your left foot. If you want to take a different variation, please feel free. All right, and this reading is called A Unique Flower. You are a unique flower with your own irreplaceable scent, your own way of moving in the world, your own uncopyable creative dance in the breeze. A rose does not say to a lily, I wish I was you. I wish I had your scent, your curves, your colors, the way you attract the light. For it knows that in essence they are one and the same being, consciousness itself, one flowering as two, and that the unity of consciousness manifests as diversity and difference, an astonishing variety, a variety which is itself a call to the remembrance of unity. A rose sees its own essence in the lily, and the lily in the rose, but they also know to honor their own uniqueness and irreplaceability. Be the essence and love your flowering. Love the taste of yourself, your unique flavor, your special dance that cannot be replicated. Never feeling superior or inferior to another flower. Never longing to delete your own flowering. Never blaming other flowerings for the way you flower or do not flower. For other flowerings are wildly uncontrollable too, forging their own path towards the light. So in this moment, just accepting yourself, loving your uniqueness, being fully present with everything that's in you. Take a couple more rounds. And then I'll just kind of leave it up to you. So when you feel pretty even on both sides, let's start making our way back to one final down dog. And again, you can get there however you want to and no rush. So any movement that calls to you on this side, cat-cows, one last vinyasa. And then walk it out in your down dog. Feel into all that space we've created throughout our practice. Feel the strength, feel the openness.
Feel your unique flowering. So just your uniqueness, your own body in this moment, your breath as it moves through you. Take one last round here. And then however you want to get there, let's find our way onto our back. So face whichever direction you want to and lower yourself down. Once you're on your back, just hug your knees in and gently rock it out side to side. Feet on the ground with your knees bent. Bring your feet mat width distance apart. Tee out your arms or cactus your arms against the ground. Inhale here. And then just start some windshield wipers with your knees side to side at your own pace. A few rounds, and if it feels good to stay on one side for a few breaths and just hold there, please feel free. So just work into your hips. Maybe feel this in your low back. You can make it more passive, so just kind of letting your knees fall from side to side, or as they fall to one side, flex your toes and really actively press your knees down. Try to keep the backs of your shoulders rooted. A few more breaths. And when you're ready, happy baby. Take a few rounds in your happy baby pose. Maybe you rock it out. Maybe you straighten one leg and then the other. Oh my gosh, 45 minutes goes so fast. It's already 10:07, so we went a little bit overtime. If there are any more poses, any more stretches that you want for yourself, please feel free to take them. And then, my friends, just start settling in, start transitioning slowly to your final relaxation, your final resting pose. So I am just going to leave you here today. So if you have 5 minutes, if you have 10 minutes, maybe spend it in your Shavasana. If you only have 30 seconds, spend that 30 seconds in your Shavasana. So this time, this is why we practice, so that we can get to a place where we can relax a little more fully. So this time is for you to be with yourself, to feel what's there, to feel those emotions, those thoughts, those waves of the ocean just moving through you. Be that vast, wide open space that just welcomes it all. No good or bad. Just let it come and let it go. So let your breath be effortless and give these last few moments to yourself. Thank you guys so much for letting me guide you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to do your practice, which I know is not always easy. I love you, I see you, I honor you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.